a drunken bumblebee on the Datura inoxia. Around about evening, last day of July in 2020. Sort of have a Datura white sage interplant going on here. That tatta 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 sound that you hear is the sprinklers going. There's that New Zealand castor. Color of bronze. Beautiful white sage is growing in a hot sand environment right at the edge of the sprinkler, as you see. Just give it enough water to juice it a little bit and not enough to make it miss the desert. Whereas the beans are really fully in the influence of the water. Pleurisy root, Asclepias tuberosa. Here a planting of mustard, Synapsis alba. It's the regular mustard like you make mustard relish with. That's probably the most epic of all my beans this year. That is the pole bean Mohawk pole. The incredible vigor of those. We put them on circles of wire and then stuck bamboo from the farm into the wire on the top, and the plants are just climbing up on that. That one's called Jack and the Beanstalk. You can kind of see why. White flowers. Very vigorous early producer. Let's pan across a little bit here. This Dianthus. Acmella oleracea, so-called buzz buttons. Over across the path that's grassed for human access. Here we have our own orange calendula variety right next to a bed that's asleep underneath buckwheat. Hopi sunflowers, Catharanthus roseus, the Madagascar periwinkle. That way. Marshmallow coming into flower. This here a nice row of garden angelica, Angelica archangelica, and that will flower next year in the spring. chocolate cherries. Not really making fruits yet. Behind that, Marketmore cucumbers. Those are heavily fruited at this time of year. They don't require very much water, so they can be sort of on the edge of the sprinkler as well. Sunflowers. Hopi black dye. Also not really in flower yet. Massive! Look at the stalks on those things. There's sweetleaf bergamot on that row, and then coming down here, we've got Amarillo Peppers. Giant orange peppers. This was just harvested. This was some direct seeded summer savory. About a third of the plants were cut back, dried on screens. Dianthus. Some Agastache mexicana here. Basically a very powerful licorice mint. Some Andrographis paniculata growing in here. Those were in flower when we put them in the field, and then they went veg after that, and they'll flower again in the fall. Here's a row of Tulsi. This is the temperate Tulsi, Ocimum africanum, and these were direct seeded here in the spring. Oh, they were the site of some incredible bee activity this afternoon. It's certainly died down now that the sun has pretty much gone down. Giant mugwort. That's Artemisia vulgaris, isn't it? Orange amaranth over here, glowing in the sunset. Back with the Tulsi row here, and then this next to it is the Japanese indigo, Persicaria tinctoria, and balsam. I'm noticing flowers on the balsam for the first time. Oh, what a relief. They're red, not pink. Episote plant. It's a volunteer. There's that Salvia Valentina. I just harvested seed on that today and listed it on the website. More balsam. The Shoot Duan, the Chinese teasel. That's in its first year. Some really nice peppers over here. Those are the Chilhuacle Negro. Those are going to be very productive this year, I can tell. Over here, maybe I'll end this video here. This is the Amrita Tulsi, which is a Ram Tulsi variety. There you have a giant kale that volunteered in the row, and we didn't have the heart to take it out. It's in the base for many a stir fry already. And the Tulsi feeds the soul, and the kale feeds the body and the blood. There's another one. Oh, I had a dream about this plant and came out and here, and it was there. That's a Baikal skullcap, the Scutellaria baicalensis. Oh, an older plant that survived from previous years. A lot more drought tolerant than you could possibly imagine. Om Shanti Om Tulasiyai. Okay. Out over the corn patch. Painted Hills Sweet. Checking it out from this direction. Very quiet, very peaceful. Very much the way I'd like us all to be